Hey everybody, Beth Helvey, Michael Saunders and Company. I hope you're doing good today. It is Thursday, May 7th, and yes, I have to look still. So wanted to talk to you all about escrow deposits. Now, escrow time periods and escrow deposits vary from state to state, and I'm going to talk to you about what is going on and how you take care of it here in Florida. Hey Todd, like I said, different states handle it differently. We're only going to talk about Florida. Hey Dion. When you go under contract for a property here in Florida, hey Carrie, what you're going to do is you are going to put down an escrow deposit, or as some people like to call it, your skin in the game. That amount varies, and an amount varies based on what you're comfortable putting down and what your seller is comfortable receiving. That escrow deposit is completely negotiable. Good morning, Dion, and it is completely negotiable. You could do anywhere from $1,000 to $50,000. It really doesn't matter. Now, what that escrow deposit is you saying that you are so committed to this transaction, you're willing to risk X amount of dollars. Now, I will tell you this, since the crash, of course, and properties coming back, and then the mad onslaught that happened after the crash back in 2008, the customary escrow deposit in my area increased. And the reason it increased is because people were putting down $500, $1,000 on multiple properties and then walking away. And they were willing to give up that amount of money. For example, I know that in other parts of the country, there are still really small escrow deposits. I know in Georgia, someone I know took an escrow deposit of, I think, $500 for a $300,000 house. Hey, Eblis, and that enabled the buyer to walk away, but you know they were able to keep it together. Hey, Avin. So here in Sarasota, especially in Sarasota County, typically speaking, your escrow deposit is going to be more than that. What you could do too is, and this is on our contract, is if the buyer wants to put a smaller amount down, but the seller would be more comfortable for whatever reason with a larger amount, you can make a second escrow deposit. Oftentimes what happens is that second escrow deposit is done either on the last day of the inspection period or the day after. I personally do it the day after. I want to give my buyer as much time as possible to exit the contract if they need to. Hi, Heidi. So if there is a amount that people aren't agreeing on, there's an opportunity to put a second escrow deposit down, and that typically makes both sides happy. When is your escrow due? Once you and your seller come to terms on the contract, both parties have signed off and the final contract has been distributed to both the seller and the buyer, you have 3 days to get your escrow money in. It is not due at contract, it is due within 3 days. Hi, Michael. You can send it in via check, you can send it in via wire, whatever you arrange with your buyer agent is what you're gonna do. It is sometimes held by the buyer's brokerage, and it is sometimes, hi Ann, sometimes held by the title company or the closing attorney. Again, that is whatever you're comfortable with doing, but you do need to let the seller know who is holding the escrow monies. And it stays there. Hey Steve, now, you want it back. Let's say, how would you be able to get it back? Well, if you are using an as-is contract, hi Robert, hi Steve, you have the ability to get that escrow money back within that inspection period. Whatever that inspection period is, the default is 15 days. Of course, that's another point of the contract that's negotiable. If during that 15-day time period, you decide for whatever reason that you don't want the house, you are automatically entitled to that escrow deposit back, and you will get it back. There's a couple other minor things too. If you're getting a loan, and for some reason, before your loan commitment is over, hi Stephen, your bank says, I'm sorry, Mr. Buyer, I'm sorry, Ms. Buyer, we cannot give the loan even after the inspection time frame is over. If your lender comes up with something that says, I'm sorry, we cannot give the loan, you're gonna get your escrow back. They will have to provide documentation that they can't give you the loan, which you will then have to submit to the seller and you can get it back. That has to happen within the loan commitment time frame, okay? There's a couple other minor things that occur in which you can get your escrow back. If the property is destroyed, obviously, you can get your escrow back. If the seller cannot provide marketable title, you can get your escrow back. You know, but these are things that have to do with being able to transfer the property. Obviously, you can't transfer a property that's destroyed, and obviously you can't transfer a property that doesn't have marketable title. Under those circumstances, even if it's even if it's outside of the inspection time frame, you can still get your escrow back. Now, those latter two things happen to me personally. I've been doing real estate for 10 years and I've never come across it, even with all the foreclosure mess that occurred, you know, back in the day. I still never had a occasion where marketable title was not able to be transferred. It does happen. I've just never seen it. Hey, Ron. And I'm sure other people have, though. So that is what you're doing. It is a risk. Real estate's a risk. But if you want your seller to take the property off the market for 30 days, 45 days, you've got to show your seller that you're committed. And the way you show that you're committed is you put some money down. What that amount is actually up to you. Hi, Ron. Hi, Lori. Hi, Cameron. It is actually up to you what you're comfortable with. It's up to your seller with what they're comfortable receiving. And both realtors should be able to give you good advice on that. And like I said, you know, hey, Miriam, customarily speaking, in Sarasota and Manatee counties, we probably take a little bit more money than other areas of the country do, and you're going to find the same thing if you're buying real estate in other parts of the country. What their norm is going to be different. Morning, Cameron. So that's it in a nutshell. That is what an escrow deposit is. If you do not deposit your escrow within that 3-day period, technically speaking, you're out of contract. Technically speaking. And the contract can fall apart. Now, I've been involved in situations where for whatever reason, the buyer got it in late. We've informed the seller was like, yeah, that's fine. You know, holidays, travel, you know, issues with the wire, you know, things like that. Occasionally that'll happen. And as long as you can provide to the seller that you are working on it, the seller will usually waive it off and go fine. Hey, Ken. So occasionally that does happen. I've never had a contract fall apart because the buyer's escrow was late. If it's late, it's usually only late by, you know, the next day, which is day 4. It can't happen though. If it does happen, you know, maybe it was meant to be, who knows. But you do have that 3-day time frame in which to get your money in, okay? So, oh, thanks, Miriam. So if you have any questions on escrows, that's really a very, when your escrow is being held, your escrow must be held by either the brokerage, which would be the buyer's brokerage here, that's what's customarily done here, or by your title company, or by your attorney, because we are an attorney state. We do attorneys and we do titles for closing. They are to hold it in a non-interest bearing account, okay? And they can't dip into it. They can't use it for anything else. It has to sit there until it is ready to be used. When you go to closing, your escrow amount, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, whatever that amount is taken off your closing costs. It's not taken off the cost of the price of the house. It comes off your closing costs. So then when you show up to your closing, you know, it comes off of that. So which is going to be your title fees and if you have any repairs, you know, whatever is going to be done. If you're buying a warranty, that sort of thing. Hey, Cassandra, it's going to be taken off of that amount. Okay. And that's how we work that part out. So if you have any questions on escrow, throw it in the comments or DM me. If you all have a different customary thing that you do in your state, throw it in the comments. I love seeing what other states are doing. That's one of the fascinating parts about real estate is how it's so different from state to state. If you have any questions on real estate in general, I'd love to hear them. Throw it in the comments or DM me and I'll be sure to tackle it. If I don't know the answer, I'll find somebody who does. So have a great day, everybody. We are going to be in the mid-80s. It is sunny. It is gorgeous. It is breezy. It couldn't be a more perfect day here. So if you have the opportunity to get out and get some vitamin D while social distancing, please do so. Make sure you wear your sunscreen, you drink lots of water, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.